What's up guys, Causeway Giant here, and finally DICE have released the gameplay trailer for the new upcoming Death Star DLC pack. I feel like I've been waiting for this day since the dawn of time, and boy did it live up to expectations. So today I'm going to be fully analysing the trailer and talking about all the new weapons, star cards, heroes, game modes and more. But just in case you missed it, or if you're like me and you just want to watch it again and again, I'll play you the trailer first and then we'll start analysing. So grab your popcorn, because here it comes.
Skywalker reporting.
Always attack the destroyer and get our assault teams aboard that Death Star.
Target lock acquired.
Here they come!
Rebels incoming! Steady!
Get our droid out of there. Well done. Now head to the hangar.
Bosk, deal with the rebels.
Time to hunt.
Fall back!
Get to the hangar now.
We're going in full throttle.
Leave them to me.
Fire behind you!
You're nearly there.
We're running out of time.
Droid secured. I have you now.
Okay, so that was the trailer. Feeling pumped now? Man, that's really got me in the mood for blowing up colossal battle stations. Unfortunately, there's not really any handy on me at the minute. Anyway, let's start analysing this hunk of hype. So in the first shot, we see a group of rebels defending a GR-75 transport and a hangar on the Death Star. This is the second stage of the new exclusive game mode, Battle Station. So far, DICE have said that this is the only game mode in the DLC due to the fact that it takes so long and features lots of different game types. Maybe they'll add more in later, but this game mode sounds so epic that I personally wouldn't even care if they added more of the standard game modes in or not. Anyway, in this first shot we get a look at the two new rebel skins, one of which looks like the blue rebel troopers that were present in the Tantive 4 during the opening of A New Hope. This is strange as these skins are already in the game but only as Leia's honor guards. We also get a first glimpse at an entirely new rebel skin, the X-Wing pilot. I was really hoping for this one, as I think the X-Wing pilot is a really cool outfit, and it was also present in the original Battlefront games, so I was hoping that it would be added to this one eventually, and it finally has! I had also predicted that the rebels might get a Wookiee skin, as it too was in the original Battlefronts, and Chewbacca has been added to the game, so I thought it would have been logical to add a rebel Wookiee skin as well, but it wasn't present in the trailer, so it doesn't look like we're getting one. Hashtag cry every time. The camera then switches to the stormtroopers who are firing back at the rebels, and we then see an Imperial officer recovering himself on the floor. This is a new Imperial skin, and I'm really happy about this. I had predicted this one, as again it was in the original Battlefront games, but it didn't look anything like this new one. This is because the ones in the older games weren't Imperial officers at all. They were in fact Death Star troopers, and were just called Imperial officers by mistake. This new one, however, looks exactly like the Imperial officers from the films, which I am really pleased about, as this was something that always bugged me when I was playing the older games. Speaking of Death Star troopers, we then get a glimpse at one before he gets blown backwards by what sounds like a bowcaster, with a telltale Wookiee roar following after, suggesting the presence of Chewbacca. This confirms that the Death Star trooper will be the second Imperial skin, which makes sense as this is the Death Star DLC, so you'd expect that one skin would be a Death Star trooper. Then, the trailer cuts to a space view of a planet that looks like it could maybe be Geonosis or Tatooine. Maybe it's a planet from Rogue One, but this detail is a little skeptical, so if you guys have got any suggestions as to what this planet might be, then let me know in the comment section down below. below. It then zooms in on an X-Wing and we hear Luke Skywalker saying,
Skywalker reporting.
"Oh yeah, this is the new Rebel hero ship, Luke's Red 5 X-Wing. This will be playable in the Death Star DLC, however it is not yet confirmed as to whether or not you'll be able to choose between Luke's Red 5 and the Millennium Falcon and Fighter Squadron games, but hopefully you can." We get a cinematic view behind Luke's X-Wing as he flies through various space debris, which I think is where the hero pickups will spawn, as he blows up a TIE fighter revealing a Star Destroyer and the Death Star in the background. This is the first part of the new Battle Station game mode, wherein you must blow up the Star Destroyer that is present here. We then see two other X-Wings joining Luke. These are none other than Wedge Antilles and Biggs Darklighter, his honor guards if you like. These will also be playable when Luke's Red 5 is in use, which sounds awesome. We then see the first actual gameplay shot of Luke's X-Wing in first person view. If we look at his abilities in the bottom right, you can see that he has a shield, an ion torpedo, and a Rebel Alliance logo. I think this last ability could be a team ability, where when activated it gives like a temporary armor boost to everyone and an additional damage boost to Luke. That would be cool. Also, in the bottom left, we can see that Luke's mini-map is different to all the other aircraft maps, as the enemies are revealed as red circles, unlike normal maps which don't have this feature. This is really nice, and it will help a lot of people who are playing as Luke. Luke then does a strafe run over the Star Destroyer, U-turns, and blows up one of the Death Star's shield generators from behind. This is the main objective in the first stage of Battle Station, and we see him get some objective score for doing this. The camera then cuts back to the hangar where the rebels are still defending the GR-75, and we get a closer look at the blue Rebel Trooper skin, along with another shot of the Imperials giving a close-up view of the Death Star Trooper skin. These new skins do not all look the same, and there are different variants of them, with girl ones, older ones, and Rodian and Duros ones. So it adds a little bit more customization into the game, which is really awesome. We then see our first gameplay shot of a Rebel Trooper, and he is wielding the new TL-50 Heavy Repeater, along with a new Laser Trip Mine star card in the bottom right. I'll talk about that later. This is a new weapon that will be added in the Death Star DLC, and is described on StarWars.ea.com as a heavy blaster that sends a storm of bolts and can also gather its energy into a devastating concussion blast. This sounds epic, as there are currently no weapons in the game, besides hero weapons, that have the ability to switch modes in order to adapt to your current situation. The next sequence shows a Twi'lek gathering the TL-50's energy as rebels are advancing. We can also see a new star card from the DLC in use here, the Medical Droid. This was present in the older Battlefront games, and is a stationary medical droid that periodically provides healing and boosts a star card recharge rate. This sounds like it'll be really helpful when defending objectives, and I can't wait to try it out. In the next first person gameplay shot, we see the concussion blast being released by the Twi'lek, causing a large blue pulsar explosion. In the same shot, the other new DLC weapon is introduced, the K-16 Briar pistol, along with the medical droid star card in the bottom right. On StarWars.ea.com, this new blaster pistol is described as being deceptive by design. It's capable of discharging the entire heat source in one powerful blast. This is another weapon that will be able to switch between modes, and this feature of the K-16 is demonstrated here and completely wipes out a stormtrooper at close range. These new weapons look and sound awesome at a variety of ranges, and I'm so excited to try them out in the field. We then see a group of rebels opening a blast door, revealing R2-D2, who is shocking a stormtrooper, who then proceeds to get meleeed by a blue rebel trooper. In the background we see some kind of floating probe or cam droid, which might be in the game or could just be in the trailer for cinematic effect. A rebel official then says,
Well done. Now head to the hangar.
as R2-D2 celebrates by wheeling around in circles. This reveals that the main objective of Stage 2 in Battle Station is to rescue R2 and escape the Death Star in a GR-75 transport ship. R2 himself will be a playable character, but more info on that later, as in this next clip, this is where I got goosebumps. The music suddenly intensifies as the shaky cam rests on Bosk, the new Imperial hero character. We hear D. Bradley Baker say in Bosk's voice,
Time to hunt.
"Oh, that sounds so cool." I'll quickly say what Bosk's abilities are going to be, then we'll go back to the trailer. So his weapon, as most people speculated, will be an improved version of the Relby V10, his blaster in the Clone Wars TV show. The Relby is arguably the worst weapon in the game at the minute, which is a shame as it's a really nice sounding weapon, so hopefully Bosk's one will be the awesome weapon that the Relby should be. His first ability is called Micro Grenades, where Bosk's Relby temporarily starts to shoot out small grenades that will explode after a short amount of time. This sounds like it'll be very similar to the Barrage star card, but will probably last longer and will do more damage. His second ability is Toxic Escape, where Bosk will drop a Dioxis grenade and then leap away like a frog in the direction he is facing. This will probably look like he's farting, but this Dioxis grenade does more damage than normal ones, so will probably result in many rebel deaths if used correctly. His final ability is Predatory Instincts, which has no cooldown and can be toggled on or off. Bosk will receive heat vision, faster cooldowns, increased damage, and increased sprint speed. This would be ridiculously OP, but thankfully it comes with a catch. When activated, it will be very hard to tell the difference between Imperials and Rebels, as they will look very similar. And also, whilst it's activated, Bosk Bosch will be very susceptible to flash grenades, so this will be a good counter weapon against Bosch. This still sounds really cool, and I'm sure it'll be very helpful when used in the right circumstances. And finally, Bosch's trait is Trandoshan Regeneration, where with each kill he will regenerate health. This sounds class, and I'm sure that on trait level 3 he'll be a pretty hard hero to get rid of, as he'll be able to regenerate quite a lot of his health with kills. Anyway, let's get back to the trailer. In the next shot, we see someone playing as Bosch and making use of his micro grenades ability. It looks devastating, and I'm sure that when Bosch is used, he'll be able to rack up lots of kills with this ability. We then see someone playing as R2-D2, revealing his abilities. Remember, R2, despite being playable, is an objective and will not be able to get kills himself, and will instead help out the team. We can see him dropping a smoke grenade, along with his other unused abilities being a scan pulse and the shock attack we saw him use earlier on in the trailer. The camera then cuts back to Bosch, who activates his Predatory Instincts. You can see that his heat vision sees right through the smoke, yet the rebels are not easily distinguishable from the Imperials. In the next shot, we see two stormtroopers getting absolutely obliterated by Chewbacca smashing the ground, sending them flying. Again, I'm just going to quickly reveal Chewbacca's abilities, and then we'll finish the trailer. So this first ability that we saw a couple of seconds ago was his ground slam, where, as the name suggests, Chewie jumps up and smashes the ground, doing lots of damage to any nearby enemies. This sounds like it would be perfect if you saw a group of stormtroopers, and it will cause catastrophic damage. His second ability is the Mighty Roar, which temporarily gives the effect of trait level 3 on the Berserker trait, where you do more damage when hurt, along with an increased armor ability to all around him. Chewie himself will also receive a damage boost along with these other bonuses, but this is exclusive to him. This ability is perfect for Chewbacca and really adds to his tank nature. Chewie will also have more health than normal heroes, but is slower to compensate for this. His weapon, of course, is the Bowcaster, and his trait and final ability are specific to his main weapon. Chewie's trait allows him to fire an extra bolt with each shot at different trait levels, where at trait level 3 he'll be able to shoot 4 bolts from his Bowcaster. His final ability is called Multi-Bolt and supplements this, as when activated it doubles the amount of bolts that Chewbacca can shoot, meaning that at trait level 3 along with this ability he'll be able to shoot a whopping 8 bolts. This sounds like it will do an insane amount of damage, as he'll practically be shooting a wall of bolts from his Bowcaster. Now let's revert back to the trailer. In the background of the shot where Chewie roars after he uses his ground slam, we can see that it looks very similar to the Death Star map in Star Wars Battlefront 2. I am really happy about this, as this was one of my favourite maps in the whole game. We then get a gameplay clip of Chewbacca, who is on trait level 1 and fires 2 bolts and kills a stormtrooper. He then activates the multi-bolt ability, doubling the bolts and firing 4 bolts at 2 stormtroopers above him, completely wiping them out. I can't wait to try out this ability, as it sounds so powerful and will make Chewie a good tank character to counter the Imperial tank Dengar. We then see Chewie and the rebels defending R2 as he heads to the hangar to complete the objective. The next shot reveals the final stage of Battle Station, where Luke's X-Wing begins his trench run. We can also see that Biggs and Wedge are following too, so they are still playable in the final stage as well. Also, in the background, we can see lots of turbo laser cannons firing at the X-Wings, so it'd be cool if you could hop into a turbo laser like in Battlefront 2 and start firing at the rebel starfighters. One X-Wing gets blown up, revealing the new Imperial hero ship, Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. I wonder if Vader will be playable in the first stage too, or if it's like Sabotage where the rebels get their hero first and then the Imperials. Either way, I can't wait to try him out. Also, if you look behind Vader's TIE Advanced, you can see that he is being followed by 2 TIE fighters, like he was in the trench run scene of A New Hope. I wonder if these will be like Wedge and Biggs, buffed up versions of TIE fighters that act as honor guards to Vader. A rear view of Vader's TIE Advanced shows him blowing up an X-Wing as Luke closes in on the Death Star's exhaust port. The camera then cuts back to the interior, where Chewie, R2 and the rest of the rebels are nearing very close to the transport, and a stormtrooper gets blown up by the laser trip mine. This is the other new star card along with the medical droid, and we can see that just before it gets blown up there is a faint blue laser trip wire, giving the explosive its name. This will allow beady-eyed players to avoid the explosives, as they will not be as well concealed as the proximity bombs, which is good, as the power-ups should always be better than the star cards. I think it's good that we're getting this as a new star card, as it will be very helpful when trying to set up defenses over an objective area. The camera then reverts back to space, where Vader blows up the final X-Wing, leaving only Luke. The transport takes off and leaves the hangar with R2 secured safely on board, and we get a few more final shots of Vader attempting to destroy Luke. However, Luke avoids him and fires his ion torpedoes, and unfortunately we don't get to see the glorious explosion. Instead, we get a graphic of the Death Star DLC's logo. In the final part of the trailer, we get the release date for the DLC being September 20th, which is only 3 days. The hype is real! So there you have it, folks. That's my full analysis of the Death Star DLC gameplay trailer released by DICE yesterday on September the 16th. I hope you enjoyed it and that this was helpful to you, and let me know down in the comments section how excited you are for its release. 3 days? I feel like I could explode into an even bigger explosion that the Death Star did in episode 4. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you liked, then please hit that subscribe button like you're Luke firing his iron torpedo. Bye!